Welcome to Kitzbuehel. From Millau in the south of France, we've headed north and into Austria for our third IFSC Bouldering World Cup of 2013. Situated in between the Hanakam and the Kitzbuehel Mountains, this idyllic town at 2,500 feet is home to some of the most beautiful panoramics in the world. The snow-capped peaks play host to the annual World Cup ski races. In fact, Kitzbuehel and the surrounding area is one of Austria's largest skiing regions around the town in the Alps, which is home to just 8,000 people. Now, we've already had two astounding World Cups so far this year, one in Chongqing and one in Millau. And already the Austrians are starting to push their way to the top of the pile. Anna Storr, 2 golds so far already this season, and Kilian Fischuber with 1 for the men's as well. Now, their ancestors, the Austrian ancestors, first came here in around 1100 BC, and that was to mine copper from the local mountains. Now our athletes gather from all around the world to see which of them are able to mine not copper, but gold, silver and bronze from the hands of the IFSC. So in the women's, Anna Storr is the one to beat. As I mentioned earlier, 2 gold medals for her so far this year already. The only person creeping up on her at the moment is Shauna Coxey, in fact, with that very narrow miss to taking the gold in Millau just recently, just missing out on a couple of attempts towards the end there to Anna, who is the titan in her field on this one and is proving to be just as troublesome again this year. There is also Akira Noguchi there as well, and Alex Puccio. The battle for 3rd place in Millau is very interesting to watch, and Alex is on very good form again this year. And also Melanie Sandoz, our world champion, is back after a series of injuries. This will be her first competition for a while, so it's going to be exciting to see how she gets on as well. It's going to be a good one. Let's get things started with the women's qualifications here on the IFSC's brand new website. Well, welcome back, ladies and gents. We're getting ready to start with the women's qualifications here in a few moments' time. We've got about 8 minutes before we're kicking things off. The route setters are just cleaning and double-checking the wall before we welcome our first 2 female athletes out to start their qualification round. Doing a few tweaks and making sure that everything's fine and ready and safe before we start. A nice little twist now, a bit of a change from the men's routes this morning. Some different problems here now. Some quite tricky ones as well. We'll be starting off over on the left-hand side again with our first 2 athletes, which will be Akira Noguchi and Anna Storr from the 2 different groups. They'll be coming out first of all, and we'll take you over to that wall in a few moments' time. First off, let's have a look at the women's start list as they are at the moment. Well, here we are then, women's qualifications, Group A, starting with Anna Storr, Shauna Coxey, Eula Verm, Mina Markovic, Melanie Sandoz, Monica Recci, Anna Ganiamova. 2 seconds, I'll bring that up again for you. Petra Klingler and Sabine Bakker. Those are our first 9 athletes coming out for us here. We had 4 pages per each group for the men's earlier today. Let's see how we get on with our women's. So still on Group A, this will be our second page coming up for you now. Leah Crane, Barbara Bakker, Manon Chapet, Vera Zilistra, Fanny Gibbert, Asaki Hagiwara, Magalai Heian, Yuka Kobayashi and Afra Honing. This is our second page then of Group A. And here, Annalisa DeMarco, Carolina Nevelikova, Tomasina Pigeon for Canada, Maria Muljar, Berit Schweinger, Dina Herman, Tina Johnson Hafsas, Andrea Ebner, and Anna Vollenweider will be coming out in a few moments' time. That's our Group A. So let's have a look at Group B as well then. Starting with some of our other well-known names. Just bring up Group B for you in a moment's time. And here we go. This is Group B then. Akio Noguchi and Alex Puccio, Melissa Leneve, Katerina Savin, Mamoka Oda, Olga Yakovleva, Tatiana Shevelinkina, Mina Leslie Wojastik and Olga Shalazhina. Those are our first 9 there, all names that we know and have seen before. Akio Noguchi and Alex Puccio struggling for that 3rd place, that bronze medal at the last World Cup. Page 2 of Women's Qualification Group B, Jana Cherishneva, Rebecca Stotz, Sa Sol, Diane Merrick, Maya Vidmar, Ellen Janiko, Anya Hodan, Chloe Collier and Petra Rudzikova of the Czech Republic. Saw Anya Hodan recently at the Tierra Boulder Battle over in Sweden. Our 3rd page then, Eileen Yubzangarita, Julia Alton, Therese Johansson, Natalie Bartishi, Frederica Petri, Michaela Tracy, Kathy Laflemme, and Madeleine Eppensteiner. And that is it for Group B. So just 3 pages for these ones then, slightly smaller than the men's groups. If you are just joining us, make sure you get yourself onto Twitter as well using the hashtag IFSCWC. And you can comment away on that one. Any requests? Not for music, but any requests or questions about anything else, do send them in to me. I'll do my best to answer them for you. These are the first 2 routes then, A1 and B1, which in a moment's time will be occupied by Anna Storr and Akio Noguchi.
I was told that no one was doing this one, but that's okay. Okay, Bruce. I'll leave you to it. I'll leave you to it. Okay. See you later. If you need anything, just give us a call on the radio.
If you are joining us on YouTube or on the IFSC's brand new website, do come and say hello to us over on the Twitter feed. Remember as well to get yourself onto facebook.com/sportclimbing2020 to participate in the donation campaign and win a chance at one of the 54 prizes which is up for grabs on there as we move towards the Olympic bid and the decision being made for that one. Sport climbing has made it onto the shortlist for the Olympic Games in 2020. I'm sure you knew that already. Let us know who you're shouting for as well. Leave you with a brief look at all of these walls as they stand at the moment before we welcome our first 2 athletes. And as we start to fill up these walls, I'll take you through the problems that we're looking at here. I believe we're just waiting for our last minute to tick down before we welcome those athletes out onto the wall to start things off. That will be Anna Storr and Akio Noguchi. Beautiful weather here up in the mountains in Kitzbuehel, sitting in between the Hanakam and the Kitzbüheler Horn Mountains. Actually, the most impressive sight from where we're standing is called the Kaiser Neue Kleider, which means the Emperor's New Clothes, which is a mountain range just at the end of this valley. which is huge, and it has a lot of lead routes in it as well for lead climbing. Not so much in the boulder front, but it's a good place to go lead climbing if you're ever in Kitzbuehel. So here we are then, Anna Storr, the lady who has been unstoppable so far this year, 2 gold medals from the 2 World Cups. We've just seen Kilian Fischuber not make it through to the semi-finals. I'm going to repeat that just for clarity. Kilian Fischuber not making it through into the semi-finals. Be interesting to see how Anna Storr gets on, considering the fact that Anna has won 2 gold medals so far this year. Kilian's had 1 as well. So we're going to be starting off on A1 and B1 here. And this is a separate wall. These 2 routes, these 2 problems rather, sorry, are over on the side on their own. So we'll be starting here. We'll only have a short moment of looking at these before the walls start to fill up and the other problems start to be used by the athletes. Then we'll go over onto the main 2 sections that we have here and show you a quad screen of the 4 other routes. So enjoy it while you can. As you can see, Anna just had an attempt at that one. Women's Group A, problem 1, starts with this double jump. Relatively straightforward route. Women's B, problem 1, is a mantle over the first volume to start, which Akia has already managed to make. Balancing base moves as you move towards the bonus, which is the yellow volume. You can see there she's taking her time to balance her way across. Nice and quick to finish there, Anna Storr. Second attempt. Akio Noguchi then, still in this position of balancing here. Getting the feet up and then pressing out with there's a pressing move coming up, switching the feet over. Needs to get her left foot over onto the black hold. You can see there she is, reaching across. And then there's this pressing move that allows you to reach up with the left for this green plate that you can see just above her, just before the final hold. There's the left hand coming out in a minute, I'm sure of it. Really taking the time there, just unfortunately not getting into a comfortable enough position to feel like she could push up out of that one into that press. Still 2 minutes left on the clock, plenty of time for Akio to get back up there again. But she's going to need to think again about exactly what she's doing here on this yellow volume as she's pushing herself into that with her chest for a moment there, really relying on that right hand to keep her there. Just didn't feel comfortable enough to bring that left hand up and go for that move. So another attempt here for Akio Noguchi, making the mantle relatively easy. Securing her hand in with the right there. She seems to have clipped herself on her ankle there. You can see a bit of blood. She's trying a different tactic here, trying to avoid the bonus almost and go straight up for the green plate. Is she going to manage to grab it? It's definitely not the way that the beater is intended to be done. But she's already made that bonus hold and she didn't feel comfortable moving from there. That's a different way to do it. And she's got to get a left foot up onto the black plate that you can see just behind it. Otherwise she's going to have to just push straight up from that yellow bonus. That was the second attempt there. This could potentially be no top for Akio Noguchi here with 30 seconds left on the clock. If she's going to make another attempt at this, she's got to go now. Kyo Noguchi struggling here on problem 1 in the qualifications. 15 seconds left on the clock and she's called it a day there. 23-year-old athlete from Ibaragi. She's world ranked number 2. These are the 2 best climbers in the world. These are the top ranked athletes in bouldering that come out first. We start in seed order and we work our way down the list. And that's points based. 2 new athletes to come out and join us then are Shauna Coxey on the left-hand side for Great Britain and Alex Puccio for the USA on the right. Now, how is Alex going to get on with this one? We know that she's not a big fan of slabs. Shauna shouldn't have too much of a problem with A1. So Shauna Coxey about to make a start. Just having another little check before she actually has a go at this one. And all eyes turn to Alex Puccio to see how she gets on with this one as well. Send us your predictions. By all means, send them in. You can get in touch with us by using the Twitter on hashtag IFSCWC. Shauna's just going to have to go for this dyno in a moment. Trying to figure out how she's going to do this first jump here. Alex looking a little bit comfortable here. Strange to see her looking a little comfortable on a slab. She's obviously been practicing that and running jumps. But where to go from here, she thinks. Very nicely done. You can see the strength in her right arm there, just allowing her to use that pressing move straight up to the top, showing us that it can be done. Very nearly taking out Shauna Coxey as she came down. It's one way of getting rid of the competition. Shauna struggling with this first jump then. Very close on that one, just slipping off. Shauna gave us an extremely exciting final in Millau. Got very, very close to taking the gold there away from Anna Storr at the last moment. Had no idea she was that close to it. Ended up taking the silver though, and there's no shame in that at all. Shauna is well known for taking silver medals. I think she's going to be starting to look for a gold some point soon. Ben Grubb in the chat saying, come on, Shauna Coxey. There it is. It took her a few attempts, but a top there for Shauna Coxey. And a top also for Alex Puccio. So let's have a look, just briefly, let's have a replay of Shauna as she made that dyno that took her a couple of attempts to get there. And this is the attempt that she got it. That's the move with the swinger, sending a foot back. A choice of 3 different footholds there. Spoilt for choice, as she then pushes up with the right for the bonus. And a relatively easy swing out to the left-hand side for top. Crowd a little bit bigger now for the women's than it was earlier today for the men's. I think it was the early start might have put people off. We did rotate it in Millau just recently. We had the women's qualifications at the very start of the day. I think the men kind of got used to it a little bit, as Sean McCall, I was talking to a little bit earlier, was saying he thinks quite a few people this morning were all a little bit dazed because the men have got back used into the routine of going a little bit later on in the day and not starting so early. Here's a brief look at some of the other walls that we'll be looking at as we move through this comp then. Having a look at the other 8 problems. Some interesting ones for you later on, and they're nicely twinned as well for the 2 different groups. So a nice balance between the 2 of them. practically identical, but at different points. So, Jule Worm and Vanessa Leneve come out and join us. Jule Worm on the left-hand side for Germany and Melissa Leneve on the right. As they get ready on A1 and B1 then here. Saw Melissa a little bit earlier as well. She was also attending Sierra Boulder Battle just recently. She's 7th on the world rankings for the IFSC World Cups. She had a bronze medal last year. Not so great so far this year, 2 15th place positions. Born in Lyon. And Jule Worm for Germany. World ranked 6th. 2 bronze medals last year on the circuit. Made a final at Miol just recently, but not at Chongqing. Just missed out. She came 7th there. She came 5th at Miol just recently. Melissa taking the time on this one as well on B1. Our next few athletes are out as well. Don't worry, we will have a little look at them in a few moments' time. Let's have a look at Akio now then, show you what just happened with her. She is finishing the top of problem 2. Using the arete with the heel hook to top out there. This one is very similar to one of the problems that Anna Storr, who you can see in the bottom left there, is going to have to try a little bit later on. But at the moment here she is on A2, starts on the arete, starts to use the arete to push herself up onto that red plate, which you can see she's doing now. And this is all about good footwork. This is all about trusting your feet. It is a slab, remember, we saw it with the men's earlier today. That this was a slab problem, which used not particularly great footholds at all to try and get up towards the top. That one actually moves into the corner as well. We'll have a look at that one in a moment when we see her try and get again. Melissa then still on the floor. So Alex, so far the only athlete to come out and have managed B1. Melissa trying some different tactics here. She doesn't want to use the press that much. It is a bit of an awkward angle. This should be it for her now. Then if she can secure this. Nicely done. Tailoring the beater there for her own personal tastes. Jule Worm struggling with this dyno then at the start. She can definitely get the one with the right hand. That doesn't seem to be a problem at all. It's the left hand getting up to that higher position to secure. And that's the important one at this point. The other thing about these 2 blue holds here as well is that they're Kalimnos holds. So they're really going to be tearing the fingers up on A1. And there are some of them later on in the competition as well. Multiple attempts at a dyno on those sorts of holds are really going to start to take their toll on her hands as she starts to move through this comp as well. Here's Anna then from the arete. Pat McGregor saying problem A1 looks so difficult. Yeah, I think Percy's really giving them a run for their money on this one. Anna Storr. No top for her on problem 2 here. Did problem 1 in 2 attempts, I believe, but no top in problem 2. Interesting. And has used most of that time as well, as we welcome another turnaround. Mina Markovic and Katarina Savin come out onto the first problem 1s for both groups. And Shauna Coxey and Alex Puccio rejoin us on problem 2. Shauna, without even getting on the wall there, just taking a moment to make sure that everything's as she likes it before she starts. Alex walking through the beta before she makes an attempt on this one. Alex looking good so far in her group. Another top here will only secure that further. 10 problems today, 5 for each of the groups. So Alex will climb 5, Shauna will climb a different 5, but they are quite similar. 10 altogether. We'll try and show you as much as we possibly can, going into quad screen in a little while as well. This B2 is quite interesting as well. Up at the right hand as she's going now. And then she hasn't used it at all. Allowing yourself to stay in this position here is easier if you use your toe underneath. You can see the tiny brown hold underneath the roof. Put there by Laurent Laporte, who was setting this route earlier today, to help you stay on that position. Alex isn't even bothering with it. She's already up into the higher sections with the ball and onto the arete, using a heel hook. And a flash for Alex Puccio, looking fantastic already this earlier on in the competition. We saw her chase Akio Noguchi right to the final moment in Mio for that bronze medal, and just missed it in the end. She's already had a bronze from Chongqing this year as well. Could this be the one for Alex? Another athlete that's used to chasing is Shauna, and as you see her making a start on this one here, she was fighting all the way to the very end between Anna Stor and her for the gold medal in Mio recently. So far they've almost matched each other. Let's see how she gets on with this one after Anna struggled to get higher than this position. The top on this one's actually up and round the corner, so it's not straight up from where she's going. Here's Mina Markovic and Katarina Savin then. Mina's had quite a few attempts at this dyno. Been keeping an eye on that while we were looking at Shauna a few moments ago. She doesn't look comfortable at all making this one. Is she going to be able to do it this time? Not enough power in that jump to get her there on the dyno. Remember, her style is lead based as well. She's a fantastic, phenomenal, almost I would say, lead climber. World ranked #1 for quite a while. So she's used to the endurance, but the slightly more static based moves. A big jump like this be a tricky one for her. Katarina Savin then. Doing quite well as well this year. Now Katia takes part in the Kids Rock Festival, which happens here every year. And she actually won it last year. She came first after working her way up the podium. So Katia's been attending Kids Rock year in, year out. At first she won a bronze medal. And that was in 2009, I believe. Then it was a bronze in 2010. Then it was a silver in 2011, and then a gold in 2012. Katia getting better and better and better. Shauna in this tricky position then. Hardly anything to go on at all there with the hands. And Shauna's taking a slip as well, which means that no top so far on A2 for any of the female athletes. With 15 seconds left, looks like Mina Markovic is calling it a day as well on her first problem here. We get ready to welcome 2 new athletes. Here's a quick replay just before we start of one of Mina's attempts. It's one of the better ones as well. Got a bit more height in that one. Well, making a return then, our current world champion of bouldering from the Paris Bercy World Championships. It's Melanie Sandoz of France. And next to her is Oda Momoka, or Momoka Oda, depending on where you're from and how you feel like saying it. Well, let's hope to see something good from Melanie Sandoz here. She's had an injury recently, and that's what's taken her out of the first 2 competitions in the year. Oda making a start here as well. Anna Stor is out on A3, and Kia Noguchi's out on B3 as well. Might pop over and have a look at those in a moment. For now, here's Oda. Who looks like she's wearing gloves. I'm sure she's not. But it looks like she's just been miming in the park. Slow and steady for Oda. Another lead climber, fantastic lead climber, but also a very good boulder. A top there for her. So relatively nice start for the guys on B then at the moment. And here we are with Eula Worm and Melissa Leneve. Melissa Leneve, I think, has just topped B2. So the B group is definitely having the easier time of things at the moment. Eula Worm. Taking a moment to look at A2. Comment from Ben Grubb on here saying problem at A2 looks absolutely savage. Defeated Anna and Shauna. I'll be interested to see if anyone tops it. That's a very good point. And let's see how Eula gets on here then. Trying to use a toe hook here to get a bit more support. And she's made it as well. Just don't fall off now, Eula. Well, there we are. Ben Grubb and I have just been forced to eat our words. We have a top on A2, Eula Worm. Anna Stor over here on what has been named Electric Kalimnos Part 1 by Percy. I swear, these names are just getting more and more ridiculous as we go through. No, so called this because of the style of hold that we have on the wall, these blue slips here. This is mainly a pinch problem all the way to the top. Very narrow pinch holds. But called electric due to the fact that the root setters, while they were trying them again and again and again, you get this very rough feel to those types of holds, and it's worn their fingers away, so they sort of buzz at the end of trying to climb it. So it's called Electric Kalimnos Part 1. Part 2 is later on for Group B. So we hopefully get some harder ones for B group later on. That black hold there with the upside down A on it that you can see, that Anna just tried to use as a hand hold with her right hand, just getting brushed now. That is not actually intended as a hand hold. That's a foot hold for later on. It's a pinch-based problem around the blue holds. And that black one there is just there as a foothold later on. I can tell you that Melanie Sandoz has made the jump. She's at the bonus hold. She has one hand on the finishing position as well. And that is a top for Melanie Sandoz. So she's starting well. And are about to make another attempt here on A3. And it looks like she's giving it, or calling it a day on that one as well. So 1 top so far for Anna Stor. And 2 without a top. In fact, maybe even without a bonus. Definitely on A3, but I'm not sure whether she secured the bonus on A2 either. Not a great place to be right now for Anna Stor. So Mina Markovic comes out to try A2, this slab section now. Katja Savin on B2. Alex Puccio has just made the dyno on B3 on the first attempt. And another flash for Alex Puccio. She's looking unstoppable so far in this competition. Nothing seems to be thwarting her at the moment. So at present, it's going to be a little bit confusing before we go on to the main wall. At the moment, at the bottom right-hand side of your screen, you're looking at Monika Recchi and Olga Yakovleva. They're climbing on problem 1. So it doesn't flow from the top left down as it would normally, but it will do later on. We're showing you problem 1 there at the moment. And then problem 2 is up in the top left-hand side of your screen, which is Mina Markovic and Katarina Savine. In the top left. Problem 3 is on the bottom left. That was the top for Shauna Coxey there. The one that Anna Stor didn't manage a few moments ago, Electric Kalimnos. That's in the bottom left-hand side of your screen, and A4 and B4 are on the top right-hand side of your screen. So until we start to move on to B5, we're going to be showing you it like this at present. I'll keep you guys posted as we go through. It's a game. So this is Mina then. Back on the floor again. Are we going to be able to see another top on A2? Or will Jule Worm remain the one unique case in this women's qualifications? Welcome if you are joining us to those women's qualifications up here in the mountains in Kitzbuehel. If you want to give us a shout out, say anything or ask any questions, get them into us on Twitter by using the hashtag IFSCWC. Savine for another attempt then here. And now she's using the toe hook. Allows her to just stay in position there a little bit better, although her left foot slipping. And here's Mina Markovic again. You can see how tough those footholds are there. She's trying the same tactic we saw Jule use, by using that lean out and toe hook. She's got a hand on it now. She's got to get another one and trust it a little bit more. This is looking good for Mina. She needs this one as well after the tricky start she's had on A1. Just using a knee there to rest. Why go higher than you've got to go, hey? Monika Recchi still on A1. Olga Yakovleva trying a completely different tactic to what we've seen any of our athletes using so far. She's on the right-hand side of that block. Katja has made it up to this point now. She's going to start using that arete a little bit more. There's the heel hook in there. And there's the top for Katarina, and a round of applause from the crowd as well here. Monika Recchi really struggling with that dyno there, but a top for Olga Yakovleva after switching to a more normal or usual beater. for that problem. We get ready in a few moments' time, 5 seconds in fact. Unfortunately, no top there for Monica Recci. We welcome our next athletes back out onto the wall. Anna Storr and Akio Noguchi move on to problems 4 now, and Anna really has to pull something out of the bag here if she wants to qualify. Really strange turn of events. Yet again this year, constant surprises. So at present, your top left-hand side of the screen is problem 2, and that's Melanie Sandoz and Momoka Oda. The top right is Anna Storr and Akio Noguchi on problems 4. The bottom left is Yula Verm and Melissa Neneve on problems 3. And on problems 1, just coming out at the bottom there, 2 Russian athletes. We have Tatiana Shimolenkina, and next to her we have Anna Galiamova. Galiamova's on the left, and Shimolenkina is on the right. And they're in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen on problem 1 at present. Now Sandoz managed the first one. Can Sandoz be the first one to have 2 tops on the first 2 problems in Group A? That's the interesting thing. And just to really confuse you even more, we're going to put A4 down in the bottom left-hand corner now. There's Anna Storr. Akio Noguchi wasting no time there at all with that one. So A4, this is similar to B5 in the men's that we saw earlier today. It's very specific on how you hold the yellow volume on this one. Now, Anna's already moved up past that. A left-handed to that blue volume, but she's, again, having issues with that one. Now, that blue volume we saw on one of the male problems earlier today. It's the accuracy about getting the ledge in the middle there. And the way to do this one is to reach out with your right foot and hook a toe on the tiny orange hold you can see there just above the yellow volume. And that toe will allow you to stay on the wall long enough to match on the penultimate hole, which is the big blue volume with the tiny ledge in the middle of it. It's just a trick to get into a better position before then, once you're matched, making that final push-up for the top hold. Anna Storr then, using the orange hold, and that's the harder way to do it, by using that hand hold from earlier as a foothold for that final push-up to the top. Although saying that, though my opinion is not as important as pretty much anyone else here, when I was standing in front of the wall talking to Percy to it earlier, my instinct was to say you should put your left foot on the green that Anna has just done it like, and Percy was tutting at me and saying, you fool, because it needs to be done with the foot on the right. Instead, it's just an easier way of doing it. He said we might see some people trying it that way, but it does feel from where Anna is standing at the moment, I suppose is what I'm trying to say, that it does feel like you want to go over to the left-hand side when you're looking up at it, because that's where the top is. And she's managed it this time that way as well. Can we be proving Percy wrong? The great Percy Bishton. So Melanie Sandoz still in this position then on A2. Oda makes a top though on B2. With 20 seconds left on the clock, it looks like Melanie Sandoz is giving up on that one. Not only just giving up, but actually just snatching the ticket out of the hands of the judge at the bottom of the wall. Obviously not very happy. Time for a temper tantrum. Just unfortunately not quite enough there for Shimolenkina either. And we welcome back Alex Puccio. Let's see how she gets on B4 now. This is Electric Kalymnos Part 2 for the B group. So we go back to quad screen. We have problem 1 in the bottom right. You can see Mina Leslie Wojastik just there getting ready to go. Next to her is Petra Klingler. At the bottom left then we've got A4 and B4 with Alex Puccio and Shauna Coxey on it. At the top right we have Mina Markovic and Katerina Savin on problems 3, and Monica Recchi and Olga Yakovleva on problems 2 on the top left. Alex looking good here with a lean out as well. Another flash for Alex Puccio. That's 4 out of 4, the only athlete so far to have done that. Let's hope she can keep that attitude up for tomorrow as well. Remember, she did qualify extremely high as well in Millau. Monica Recchi then starting off on problem 2 here, using that arete. Monica had problems as well on A1. And let's see how she gets on with A2. She's going to be needing to get something here in order to stay in this competition. Shauna Coxey at present 3 tops in 6 attempts. Puts her at the top of her group. Anna Storr after 5 climbs at present, it's saying, though I don't think she's climbed 5 yet, but only 2 tops so far out of 4 attempts, I do believe. Roughly left on the clock now. And the only athlete left on the wall, Monica Recchi. And Monica Recchi then with 1 minute 30 left on the clock. Our only athlete left here, German athlete. Quoting from Ben Grubb in the chat, saying, I think Alex Puccio might just scrape through into the semis at this rate. That's a keen observation there, Ben. That's a good point, actually. Mike's just shouted, unless she gets disqualified, our producer down the line. Monica Recchi then, another attempt, 21 years old, from Munich. She was 6th in Chongqing at the start of this year. So she made it through into the finals, her first finals this year. Unfortunately, struggled all the way through the final in Chongqing, but she made it there, came in 6th. She's world ranked 13th at the moment. So far this year, 2013, she's currently 8th. I think she's leaving it there still with 20 seconds left on the clock. We get ready to welcome 2 new athletes. So, we go to a 4-way split on the screen for you now, and we bring you Anna Storr's final climb on A5. Next to her, Akio Noguchi on B5. They are all in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. And now, guys, you can relax. It's in order, and it will be in order from now on. You've got 2 in the top left, 3 in the top right, 4 in the bottom left, 5 in the bottom right. Those are our problems as we move from here. We leave problem 1 now, and we bring you the remaining 4 problems for these athletes as they move on through this competition. So we have our 2 Russian athletes, Tatiana Shemolinkina and Anna Galiamova in the top left-hand side of your screen. Top right, we have Melanie Sandoz and Momoka Oda. Bottom left, almost near the top here, we've got Yula Verm, and you can see Melissa Leneve as well making her way up Electric Kalimnos, which is B4. So close, Yula Verm, but unfortunately just coming down there. Anna Storr needs a top here. More than that, she needs a flash more than anything. On the bottom right-hand side of your screen now, starting to use the arrêt, which is the way to get up this one. Switching the feet, using a toe hook, and there it is, Anna Storr securing that one. As is Akio Noguchi. Both those athletes finishing their run of attempts here with the top. Pat McGregor asks on the feed, is there a difference in difficulty between the A and the B group problems? All the A's look more difficult than the B's. No, Pat, not intentionally. They are split at a different level. And at the moment, we've only seen a lot of problems 1, 2, and 3. Whereas for the B group, 3, 4, and 5 are probably the more difficult ones. But they should be fairly well balanced. At least that's Percy Bishton's intention, who's the chief route setter here in Kitzbuehel. Yula Verm. It did look like she was using the same method as Anna Storr did, just to use the green as a foothold. It is a risky move, that one. We've seen Anna Storr coming down at that point. Well, so far it looks like the trickiest point on any of the problems is A2, at the point that we can currently see Anna Galiamova on. That lean out onto the bonus hold at the very top. Yula going for another attempt here. A4. 1 minute 20 left on the clock. 5 minutes for each of the athletes at this stage of the competition. A strict 5 minutes. Pulled down off the wall if you exceed that time limit. Not forcibly. They don't like bring out a lasso and drag you off. You just have to get down. Less than a minute. Melanie Sandoz still on the floor. She didn't seem too happy after A2 a little bit earlier. But this is definitely the right tactic that we've seen used so far for Anna Galiamova, leaning out in that direction with the toe. But unfortunately running out of time, and it's looking like she's going to call it a day there on that one. Round of applause there for Eula, who finally makes it to the top on her one, and Melanie Sandoz struggling on that penultimate hold there. It looks like she's gonna have to call it a day there on that one as well. Two new athletes out there now. Mina Leslie Wojastik for Great Britain over on boulder problem 2. And next to her, Petra Klingler of Switzerland on Group A problem 2. So Petra makes a start here. Alex Puccio, unstoppable all the way all through this competition. That, I believe, is 5 flashes for her. And Ashley Scott makes a very good point about the B group. Would I like to tell Alex that problems 3, 4 and 5 are meant to be harder? I'm not going to, no, because I think it's great to see Alex just coming out and making mincemeat out of whatever anyone is throwing at her at the moment. I don't want to interrupt her. A top for Katerina Savin and a top for Shauna Coxey as well. Shauna looking good here on Group A. A top for Monica Recchi as well. Good. Nice to see her getting there on that one. Just over a minute for that one as well, after we saw Melanie Sandoz taking her time and finding it tricky there. A different tactic on the top there for Mina Leslie Wojastik as well. Didn't use the arete so much, didn't use a foot on the arete like we've seen some of the other athletes doing. But a top there for her on B2. I can tell you at present, still with Jula Verm and Mina Markovic to climb, Anna Storr is already in 4th place. Remember that the 2 groups are separate on this one. We have 10 from each group. So 10 from Group A make it through and 10 from Group B make it through. Storr is not looking in a good position here at the moment with only 2 tops. Joppy asking, is there an alternative to the YouTube stream? There is. You can get there by going onto IFSC's website and clicking the alternate screen. Here's another thing for you guys to get onto as well, the donation campaign. Join us on Facebook, contribute to the donation campaign and earn a chance to win one of 54 prizes. Some of them are featured there on the right hand side. You can go to facebook.com/Sport Climbing 2020. Help us to support the Olympic dream, the movement that the IFSC has put in place for us to take part in the 2020 Olympics. We are currently shortlisted. Every little like and every little donation helps go towards that. They're trying to raise £20,200 because it's symbolic. So anyone as well that was asking about that alternative YouTube stream, you can get yourself onto ifsc-climbing.org. Some of you might be watching us already on that one. And just below the video screen, there's an option for an alternative link. You can click on that one and watch it in a different quality as well. So we wait for the last 5 seconds and our next turnaround to happen. We welcome Olga Shelagina and Sabine Bakker out. There in the top left-hand side of your screen at the moment, 2 Russian athletes, Anna Galiamova and Tatiana Shebelinkina on the top right. Bottom left then, we have Melanie Sandoz and Momoka Oda, and bottom right, Julianne Verme and Melissa Leneve. Any questions any of you might have about anything, do send them in to us. You can do that by getting onto the Twitter feed using hashtag IFSCWC. And again, just a reminder to you guys to get yourself onto that Facebook page and like away, send it to as many friends as you possibly can. Try and boost the amount of support that we have for this fantastic sport as we start to move towards a decision from the IOC on who makes it through into 2020's Olympics. If you are new to this sport and you don't watch this feed often, and you're not already sick of me asking you all to go and do it, we have this argument that it is the only one of the basic human movements, of which there are 6, that is not represented in the Olympics. We feel it's about time that it should be. This is a qualifications day as well, guys. Remember, you're just joining us at the very early stages of this competition. You come back again tomorrow for the semi-finals and the finals. The atmosphere on a finals day is absolutely electric. The music picks up. It's later on in the evening. The light show happens. The crowd, 5,000 easy people in here. By the time we reach that point of the evening, as they gather to watch those 12 athletes, 6 men and 6 women, battle it out for a place on the podium. A thank you to Julie Ozilino. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing your second name correctly. But for retweeting that, saying to all of you about how you get in and join in on the chat with us here. Speculations then from all of you as to how or whether we think Anna Storr is going to make it through into the semi-finals. We've had some shockers already today. Is Anna going to be making it? Alex Puccio, 5 tops in 5 attempts. Melissa Leneve, 5 tops in 6 attempts. Akio Noguchi, 4 tops in 4 attempts. And that's in the 3rd place position in Group B. So already by 3rd place, we're into 4 attempts. 4 tops rather. Momoka Oda underneath her in 4th place, 4 tops in 6 attempts. Katja Salvin underneath that in 5th with 4 tops in 7 attempts. Currently number 1 in Group A is Shauna Coxey with 4 tops in 7 attempts. Julianne Verme for Germany, 4 tops in 9 attempts, is in 2nd place. Mina Markovic currently with 3 tops in 4 attempts. And then Anna Storr, 3 tops in 8 attempts at the moment. Petra Klingler, who is still climbing, 2 tops in 2 attempts so far, 2 flashes. A top for Tatiana Shebelinkina. Melanie Sandoz then trying to do that cross onto the final move. So, Melanie Sandoz. Petra Klingler then comes out onto A3 now. If she can flash this one as well, she's going to start moving up to the very, very top of Group A. Monica Recci's back out as well, just behind her. Still quite a few athletes to come on Group A as well that could cause some problems a little bit later on. We have Manon Chapet coming out a little while later. Yuka Kobayashi as well is another one. And some athletes that are out already now as well. Leah Crane could cause some problems with some of the athletes that are trying to sit pretty in that qualifying group now. Olga Yakovleva, a top there for her on problem 4. Mina Leslie Wojastik, big swing out then from that dyno up to that position. Got a hand up onto the bonus hold. Switch heels, Mina. She's going to go straight for it. She's got the reach for it. And she's managed it. A top there for Mina Leslie Wojastik. Leah Crane is now out. You can see her in the top left-hand side of your screen on this slab problem for the A group. If she can make this, she's definitely going to be in a good standing. Petra struggling with these Kalymnos holds. Up in the top right hand corner of your screen at present, Mina Markovic on a route that she should really find not too to her distaste. More lead based. And there you can see straight to her taste as well. A top there for her on problem 5 in that group. So Markovic is securing that position at present. I believe that's 4 tops for her as well. That could change some things. A top as well over on B2 at present for Yana Shereshneva of Russia. Monica Recci, one move away, and as soon as I start talking as well, down she comes. Commentator's curse. Bottom right then, I'll switch my views. Katerina Salvin starting off on B5, just come down, getting a bit of a clean before she makes another attempt on this one. So B5 is almost identical to A4, which is currently the one that we can see Monica Recci climbing on, just next to her. You can see similar sort of start. They're sort of mirrored the other way around to the bottom 2 screens. And at the top 2 left ones, that is a mirror, because that is actually Petra Klingler climbing twice. And making a top as well. Now that's going to start to push Petra up towards a better position in the A group. Anna Stor, 3 tops in 8 attempts. She's used some attempts there, Petra Klingler. But she's currently sitting in 5th. I remember as well as it's split into 2 different groups. We only take 10 from each group to make our 20. So 10 from Group A make it through, 10 from Group B, and those are our 20 female athletes that make it through into the female semi-finals. Then they battle it out until we're down to just 6 for the female final here. And it's the same for the men, so we end up with 12 athletes altogether, that's men and women combined, in our finals tomorrow evening. Make sure you come and join us for that one, it's going to be a good one.
Und auf der linken Seite mit der Startnummer 113 am Fuß A. Sie ist Vera aus den Niederlanden am 23. Platz in der Weltrangliste. Auf der linken Hauptflank mit der Nummer 111 aus Österreich.
Mina Leslie Wojastic looking good so far as well on the rankings. 3 tops in 3 attempts. She was competing with Melissa Leneve and Alex Puccio just recently at the Tierra Boulder Battle, and Puccio and Leneve are currently sitting at the top of that table in her group with more or less straight flashes, definitely straight flashes from Alex. A top there from Momoka Oda on B5. And on A3, Baka makes another top as well. Rebecca starts so close. Had a hand on the final hold there as well. Just rushed it a little bit too quick. Maybe not quite secure on the arete as she needed to be. Olga Shalagina is another fantastic one to watch climb. We saw her take quite a bad injury in Vienna last year, during a final as well. But that just goes to show she's used to making finals. A top for her there on B3. And the other backer is out for us as well, Barbara Backer. It does get a little bit hard to tell the two of those apart sometimes. They do look quite similar. Barbara's out on A2 at the moment. This is Rebecca Stotts in that similar position she was in a moment ago. She just rushed a little bit too much. She's not using the arete with the foot there to secure her on the wall, and that, I think, is what it is. That's what's stopping her from getting that top. It's quite a narrow hold there. It looks quite big, but it's actually just cut out in the center just for you to get a couple of fingers in on that top hold. You need to do it a little bit slower than she's doing it at the present. Interesting as well to see our current world champion struggling, Melanie Sandoz. 1 top so far in 7 attempts, and she's currently still climbing on the bottom right-hand side on her last climb for today. So only potentially 2 tops for her altogether, although she has been out for a while with that finger injury. question in the chat room then from Ashley, asking what time the finals tomorrow. The men and women's semi-finals are due to start at 12:30, around just after midday-ish. It's 12:30 p.m. That's Central European time for the semi-finals, men and women. And the finals are due to start at 7:30 p.m. That's the presentation of the finalists and the observation of the routes will start at 7:30 p.m. tomorrow. And that's both Central European time as well, remember, Ash. So for you, I think it will be an hour earlier. Manon Chapet now out as well on A2. Next to her, Sasol of Korea on B2. Stor currently in joint 4th place with Petra Klingler, who's still out on A4. Mina on another attempt as well. Mina Leslie Wojastik on B4 here. One move away. And there it is for her as well. Another top. Looking very secure to make it through into the semis at present. Olga Iakovleva on B5 at present as well. The mirror to what you can see in the bottom left-hand side, also on the bottom right. A4 and B5 are twinned. And Leah Crane on A3, you can see at the top right-hand corner of your screen. Leah Crane then. A nice finish there with 1 minute 25 left on the clock. Nice and easy. We have seen her this year. She came 7th at Miol just recently. Just missed out on a place in the final. Highest result on the IFSC circuit so far to date is an 11th place at the Bouldering World Cup in Sheffield in 2011. But she's been climbing since she was 6. And she's also a British bouldering champion. Well, let's hope that she can improve on that 7th place this time around and make it through to being one of the 6 in the finals. Leah Crane as she makes her way through this comp. Petra Klingler then, that was a big, big move for her at the end, but she made it. A top there for Petra on A4. Unfortunately, no top for Manon Chapet. And Vera Zilistra appears for the Netherlands as if from nowhere for A2. Next to Diane Merrick of Great Britain.
Kurs
34th at Miol just recently. The highest result for Zilistra over the past year or so was a 13th place, and that was at Chongqing in 2012. Rebecca Stotts over onto B3 now then as well. Let's hope the beta doesn't stump her on this one. Will McLoone, one of the Harrogate Hustlers, has made it through. I read the question before I read the hashtag. Oh dear. Will McLoone from the Harrogate Hustlers. How does the A and B system work, anyone? I'm not sure exactly what you mean by that. The seed athletes that we would normally go at if they were all in one group, so we would have the world rank number 1, 2, 3 and so on, that would come out first and work our way down a list. Well, that's tiered. So our first is the top of one group, and our second is the top of another group. Our third is the top in this, is the second in the first group, and our fourth is the second in the second group, if that makes sense to you. So all the odd numbers, number 1 in the world, number 3, number 5, number 7, are all in one group. All the even numbers, number 2 in the world, 4, 6, 8, and so on, are all in another group. Then they compete on the same amount of routes that have been set to a similar standard by the route setting team. So for this case, we have 10 problems for them to compete on here, and that's split into 2 sets of 5. So 5 problems for each of the groups. And then the highest 10 from each of those groups make up the 20 that we take through to the semi-finals. So it's no longer about being in the top 20 in your group, it's about being in the top 10 in your group. You have to have made it into 10th place to make it through into the semi-finals for your group. So we take then the 20 through to the semi-finals, and then we work on a normal system. The only reason that they split it into 2 groups like this is if there is a large turnout of people, and it's easier to just split them so that we're not having to wait for so long for so many athletes to come through. Remember, it's 5 minutes per each climb and 5 minutes for rest time in between. So for any athlete to compete on a wall here, you're looking at roughly 50 minutes as they're moving through. So we try and narrow that down a little bit by splitting it into groups. Hopefully that answers a question for the Harrogate Hustlers. Ola Love saying problem A2 is a slab. That pink foothold looks to have been really slippery. It is terrible, terrible footholds. That's not my opinion. That's Percy, the route setter. That's his opinion. At least Vera's enjoying herself as she's making her attempts on this one. Less than a minute to go on the clock. She's still smiling. Tatiana Shimolinkina. She's had a bit of a tricky one here. There's a couple of moves that I saw her trying earlier on that it looked like she jabbed a finger halfway through. I think it was B3 she was on earlier. Really awkward falls as well. Let's hope she can get a top in here with the 30 seconds left on the clock for her before she finishes her climb today. Diane Merrick matching on the bonus hold here then on B2. But not making it to the top, and with 20 seconds I don't know whether she's going to have another go. She's definitely got the bonus for that one. And yes, Tatiana Shemolinkina makes it all the way up there on B5. A top for her at the last moment. 5 seconds left on the clock. Any support from Russia today? Do let us know you're there and watching. Like to know who's joining us. Final climb for the day then for Mina Leslie Wojcicki and for Petra Klingler on A5 and B5, bottom right hand side of your screen, sorry. Leah Crane's back out with Jana Sherishneva on problems 4, Sass Sol and Manon Chapet on problems 3, and Maya Vidmar comes out to join us for Slovenia and Fanny Gibbet for France. Petra quick to start here, over on A5. Got the bonus already. Remember, A5 is the mirror of B2, which we can currently see Maya Vidmar climbing on the top left-hand side of your screen, using the arete on the side, which Maya will start to do in a moment. Petra Klingler is looking very, very strong here today. Fantastic effort for her so far. There's another top already on A5, a flash, and for Mina Leslie Wojcicki as well. My old chum Bed Grubb was joining us in the chat room saying the British girls are getting it done today. Impressive. Definitely so. We're seeing a real surge in world-class British female climbers appearing at these events. Shauna Coxey, Mina's on her way up there. This is definitely a year for her. Leah Crane as well, now making or starting to make more commitments to appearing at the IFSC World Cups. It's great to have her with us as well. Well, let's just hope that we see Dave or Ned or John in a final some point soon. Leah Crane trying to pop for that one there. It needs to be a lot more static than that. You can see she's jabbed her finger there, trying to get onto that ledge. 2 minutes left on the clock. I don't think she'll be making that same mistake again, so let's hope she can get up there again and use that penultimate hold to full effect. Maya Vidmar then back at this position around the bonus hold. Maya not liking this one at all. Maya, another very well-known lead climber. We went to her local gym when we were in Slovenia last, in Kran. And even for the lead routes that they climb more often, they work around a bouldering gym that's just littered with holds, and they do massive circuits, 70 or plus moves that they have to memorize as their coach taps them with a stick. Points just said this one, then this one, then this one, then this one, all the way around, and they have to just keep doing it in circles, trying new moves as they go. Really interesting way to train, climbing a lead route on a bouldering wall. And that's how Maya climbs, so it shouldn't be a problem with endurance for her at all, as she is a lead climber. She's starting to get there now on this one. She's got to switch her feet here. So many of these athletes keep trying to put the left down at the bottom, right out onto the bonus hold, and then just jump for it. But the way that wall curves at the top there, it's just stopping them from getting up to that top hold. And unfortunately, that was the highest we'd seen Maya on that wall there. That was her chance. And with 5 seconds, that's the end of that one. This just goes to show how important it is that the beta is read in a certain way. The route setters have set them. Sometimes you see certain athletes overcoming a beta. More often than not, you see Shauna Coxey doing something absolutely crazy that just isn't intended at all. And she usually gets there. But it just goes to show how important the beta is, that the way that it is intended to be done by the route setters. And that's why this sport is so fantastic. It's not just a physical aspect of it, although it is extremely demanding physically. It's also mental. It's how you're reading a problem before you attack it. So, Asaki Hagiwara now out on A2. And a top there for Rebecca Stotz. Olga Shalazhina over on the bottom right-hand side of your screen at the moment. Very, very nearly. Just not quite enough. Plenty of time, though. This is Asaki Hagiwara, one of the shorter athletes. And the way that we've seen this problem done on A2 so far, the only way, in fact, we've seen it done, is to lean after getting the toe hook she's just used with the left there, right out and reach. Now, is she going to have the reach? That's the problem. Or the footing. She disappears. And she's okay, nothing bruised but pride. So what we're going to do while we're waiting for these athletes to make another attempt on the wall is just have a brief look now at the results as they stand. Let's bring them up for you on your screens at home. So we're waiting for Group A to just pop up for us now. Here we are, Women's Qualification Group A, the standings at present. Petra Klingler, 5 tops in 14 attempts, 5 bonuses in 12. Below her, Mina Markovic, Shauna Coxey, Julian Verm, Anna Stor in 5th, Anna Galiamova, Monica Recci, Sabine Bakker, and Leah Crane at present. The all important 10th place as it stands currently is Barbara Bakker and Manon Chapet, which are tied 10th at present. We still have quite a few athletes still to climb. So that's how they're standing in Group A. Let's have a look at Group B then, have a quick one look at that. And the prediction that I had earlier has actually happened. We have 2 joint firsts, which are Alex Puccio and Mina Leslie Wojastik, both with 5 tops in 5 attempts, 5 flashes, 5 bonuses in 5 as well. Below that, Melissa Leneve, 5 in 6. Now, all 3 of those top 3 athletes have had an extra competition in between the Mio and then this one as well. Maybe that's kept them on form, the Tierra Boulder Battle. Maybe that's kept them hungry, it's kept them in shape. They've been used to doing competitions. If you want to watch that, by the way, you can get onto it by going onto the 24/7 website, 247.tv. And you can watch the Tierra Boulder Battle on there. It's a fantastic competition organised by Bjorn Paul in Sweden just recently at the Klettercentret. And we saw Alex Puccio take gold there, and Alex Puccio is definitely gunning for gold again here today. So back to the wall. A quote in here, then 2 quotes coming in. Philippe Lanthier saying Shauna Coxey and Alex Puccio look strong in qualifiers today at the Bouldering World Cup in Kitzbuehel. Thanks for the shout out, Philippe. And then Ashley saying, I think we should start calling Shauna's beta the British beta. It might be strange, but it gets you to the finish. Nice. Another athlete, as we were just talking about the Tierra Boulder battle that was there earlier, has just emerged onto the wall, and that's Anja Hodan of Sweden. She's out on B2 now. You can just see her in the top left-hand side of your screen. Let's see how she gets on here as she moves through this competition. So the 10th place currently on Group B is Rebecca Stotz, which is 3 tops in 5 attempts and 4 bonuses in 6 attempts. That's the cut-off point for them. That's in Group B. That's the one to beat to make it through into the top 10 there. What do we think to the split groups then, guys? People at home, interesting that you have to be not only just in the top 20 overall, but you have to be in the top 10 of your group. I suppose there's no real difference there. It just seems interesting because they're climbing different routes as well, different boulder problems. Though they are twinned, they are almost the same, they are still different. Leah Crane, A5, last climb of the day, a top there for her. I hate to keep going back to it, I'm not being biased at all, but the GB girls have really put on a good show here today at the qualifications. Congrats to them and the team. So Jana Sherry-Schneider on B5 then for Russia. Let's hope she can get to the top on this one. Maya Vidmar, if you remember as well, is the one over on B3 at the moment. She's just trying to start off on there. The lead climber went through a series of finger injuries around 2007 after winning 7 lead World Cups in a row. So she's definitely known for being well up there, top of the board in terms of lead climbing. But in 07, she had to take some time out. She injured a finger on, I think, her left hand first, and then came back and injured the same finger but on her right hand and had to take more time out again. She was in the Slovenian Armed Forces. Anja Hodan having a tricky time on B2 at the moment. Magali Heyen of Belgium as well, just next to her. Saw her at Millau, she was joint 29th. She's born in Liège and lives in Bouffes. Was world ranked 65th in 2011, but her best so far to date is 22nd at a Bouldering World Cup in Munich for the IFSC in 2011. She's been as high as 9th before as well, Magali, but that was at the Female Juniors Lead competition, the European Youth Series in Annecy in France in 2008. Anja Hodan then, using the beater the right way. Got a heel hook on there, and there's a top for her on B2. Worth mentioning, Anja Hodan's one of the older climbers. She has 2 children. She's 35 years old. Anna Storr is now sitting in 7th place. Barbara Backer has moved up into 5th in her group, and Leah Crane is now up in 6th as well. Storr is in risky territory here now. Petra Klingler up at the top of her group. The cut-off point in that group is still Manon Chapet, is one top. So you only have to do more than one of these problems to qualify for the semi-finals in Group A here. A is the hardest set of problems. We've noticed that. Ben Grubb back in the chat saying, I like the split group format to keep things interesting, but I'm not sure it makes for a level playing field. The A blocks definitely look harder. It's an interesting point. Well, we just saw Ellen Janiko having a bit of a freak out moment coming down from B3. Janiko took gold at Briançon last year. Saki Hagawara on A3 then, a top for her here. Mina Markovic is looking good in her group as well. She has 4 tops in 6 attempts. She's actually ahead of Shauna Coxey, who has 4 tops in 7 attempts. Eula Verm in 4th, 4 tops in 9. Anna Storr still clinging on there in 7th place. To beat Anna Storr, you have to do 3 tops in less than 8 attempts. 3 or more tops. The cut-off point is still Manon Chapet with that 1 top in 10th place. All you have to do to make it into the semi-finals in Group A is to do more than one of these problems. Nick Slinger asking, might be a stupid question, but how can the bonus attempts be different to than the top-out attempts? Well, the bonus is that hold on the wall that's got the little bit of white tape on it. And say I start climbing on A3. Let's use that as an example. This is called Electric Calymnus. You can see at the top right-hand corner of your screen, you can see the white tape there. I start climbing from the start holds, and on my first attempt, once I've started past the start holds, I managed to get a hand or two onto that white taped hold there, and I've secured that hold, but I don't top, I then fall down. Then I take another attempt, I get to that bonus point, but I then move past it, and I top out. I would then have a top in 2 attempts, but a bonus in 1 attempt, because I've made the bonus on my first try, but it took me 2 attempts to top. So that's how the difference can happen between bonuses and tops. Bonuses are usually halfway roughly on the wall, around the crux, the top point on the wall. Although Percy has put a couple of them as the penultimate holds here. The bonus hold on B3 is the last hold. And we saw it happen earlier today as well in the men's. A1 also, the bonus hold is the penultimate hold here. And the only way that becomes null and void is if you flash a problem, because if you flash a problem, you've done 1 bonus in 1 attempt, as well as 1 top in 1 attempt. So hopefully that answers that for you, Nick. Yuka Kobayashi then on problem 2. She's got a bit more height than we saw Asaki Hagawara have when she was at this point. She's trying to rely on that left foot, and we haven't seen anyone luck out on that yet. There really is nothing on the wall there. In fact, you might even be better smearing than relying on any of those footholds. Vera Zalistra not having a great run so far, unfortunately for her. Yuka Kobayashi going up into that same position again, using the toe hook this time. Just can't quite get the feet secure enough. And we wait now as we bring out some new athletes. And another turnaround. So Afra Honig, comes out for Germany on A2 now. Afra Honig, we saw last year equal 42nd at Munich 2012. And Petra Rudzikova of the Czech Republic just next to her. World rank 78, Petra Rudzikova. Last year, the highest result for her was equal 29th, and that was at Log-Dragomer. Since then, she's competed in a few events, but we've just seen her this year once, and that was in Millau, and she came equal 35th there. Petra Rudzikova, you can see her in the top left-hand corner of your screen now, starting off on B2. And then just another shout out to you guys if you are joining us from around the world. Remember as well to get yourself, if you are new to this and you haven't already, or even if you have, just so you can get it out to the other friends and the other group of people that you might know. We're trying to get as many people as we possibly can onto the Sports Climbing 2020 page on Facebook and as many likes as possible. We'd love to hit 20,000 by the end of this weekend. I'm told we are approaching that mark. And we want 19,000 by the end of today, I'm told. So if there's any chance of you guys getting onto that and clicking like, please do get there. Every single like helps us push towards that 2020 Olympic bid. It is essentially, although it does boil down to how much the IOC like what we do as a sport, but it is essentially a big, big popularity contest. We want to make sure that the IOC know that this sport has a large audience wanting to see it. People that are excited about it. If you are new to the sport and this is the first time you've ever seen one of these comps, make sure you join us tomorrow as well. You can find it all on a replay afterwards, but it's definitely worth sticking around for a finals day. We get into the really, really tricky problems. Now, these problems here are hard, but we're going to get even harder as we move through the rest of the weekend. So yes, a reminder to all of you, www.facebook.com/sportclimbing2020, all one word. Every little vote helps us, so please get onto that one, guys. We're also running a donation campaign on there that gives you a chance to win one of 54 prizes that are advertised up there as well. You can find all the details for that on the page. Get the word out, guys. Afra Honig. Tricky times there on A2. Roughly 9 more athletes left to come out. Well over halfway towards the end of this one now for you. Manon Chapet over on A5 now. And Fanny Jivet on A4, another attempt here for her then. And this is the mirror image with B5. Results as they're standing at the moment. Currently top of her group, Petra Klingler. Above, Mina Markovic, Shauna Coxey, Julianne Verm, Barbara Backer, and Anna Storr. Petra Klingler in first place. Fantastic to see the same thing that we saw in the men's, a complete turnaround. Some athletes that we're used to seeing sometimes, but not pushing through to the top of the pile. Definitely pushing through to the top of the pile here.
Und am Stand der Metzgerei Huber gibt es noch frische Fischspezialitäten. Und am Huber-Widerstand nutzen Sie die Gelegenheit. Damit unterstützen Sie auch den Verein, speziell am Kuchenstand und am Kaffeestand, was zu 100% für die Jugend des Kräftenachwuchs zugute kommt.
So another turnaround then comes out for us. Maja Vidmar making her last climb of the day here. Karolina Nevelikova of the Czech Republic comes out onto problem 2 for us here. And next to her, Julia Alton. Julia Alton, 16 years old, competing here for Italy. Born in 1996 in Ortesi. Some good results so far today on the female youth circuits in lead and speed here. Highest result, in fact, is in speed climbing. She came 5th at the female youth A speed European Youth Cup in Pieve in Italy in 2012, so last year. And here she is competing now, you can see her in the top left-hand side of your screen, on a senior circuit IFSC bouldering competition. Had a brief chat earlier today with Sean McCall about switching types of climbing that you do and how hard it can be sometimes. You know, there are specialist areas for each of them. We're starting to see more of those athletes starting to do it. Jakob Schubert, after last year and the big decision to start moving into bouldering, and has done very well in bouldering since he made that switch, as well as lead now. Got Maja Vidmar and Mina Markovic as well here, lead climbers that also climb boulder. So just to clarify a few things about tomorrow then, we'll be kicking off with the semi-finals and they will start at 12:30, around midday-ish then. That's for the men and the women, the semi-finals, 12:30. That's Central European time. Again, I have to keep stressing that. That's our local time here in Kitzbuehel, 12:30. And then the finals. We will be starting up for the presentation of the finalists and the observation time for the finalists at 7:30 p.m. Central European time tomorrow, which means that we'll be live with you guys from probably about 7:20 Central European time. So all that to look forward to tomorrow as well. Do spread the word to everybody that you're around or near from your local gym. I was almost shocked and appalled the other day when I walked into Red Point Climbing Centre in Birmingham in the UK, and they weren't even sure who the IFSC were. Anja Hodan then, B4. Another attempt here for her. She's close now. Too quick. A little bit too quick there. Maja Vidmar looking a little bit dumbstruck here at the end in B5. I think we've lost her into a staring competition with the wall. Fanny Givert here as well. Got to start getting over to the left. She's got a hand on the arete here. She's got to switch her feet on this one. Or she could do that. This is an interesting position. A little bit scary at the top there then, but she managed to secure it on her 5th problem today. I think Maja is calling it a day there on B5. Yes, she is. She's leaving it there. And some new athletes out there now. Therese Johansson we saw at the Tierra Boulder Battle. One of our athletes that was invited to the competition just recently. She's coming out onto B2 now for Norway. And next to her, Thomasina Pigeon, another athlete that climbs both lead and bouldering for Canada. Interesting point here from Tana Huss that says, I hope Alex Puccio's win at the Tierra Boulder Battle will give her the boost of confidence she needs to get back onto the World Cup podiums. Well, remember, Tana, that she had the bronze medal at Chongqing. That was before the Tierra Boulder Battle as well. So she has podiumed already this year before she had that win just recently in Sweden. But I would agree with you completely in the fact that it seems to have boosted her confidence, definitely. She just machined through these problems earlier today. Not a problem at all. I think actually between her and Mina, they're the only two athletes so far to have topped all 5 in 5 attempts. Mina Leslie Wojcicki and Alex Puccio, top of the qualifications in both groups. 5 tops in 5 attempts. Both looking very strong, and both of them were at that competition, the Tierra Boulder Battle, as was Therese Johansson, up in the top left now in the blue. There's a top for Ellen Janico as well on B5 now. Janico currently in 8th place, and I believe that top on B5 will now give her 5 tops in 6 attempts, which should bump her up to joint 3rd, I believe, in her group. So she's done exceptionally well there in B. B is the harder one to get into. Maya Vidmar resolved to the fact that she won't be making it through into the finals after her final climb there. Only 2 tops in 2 attempts. Fortunately not enough for Maya Vidmar. Therese Johansson of Norway, currently 2 tops in 5 attempts, but I think she's only climbed 2. So a good start there for her. We are currently still bringing the athletes out at present. We are moving towards the end of the competition now. 5 more athletes to begin climbing before we start emptying our wall instead of filling it up. Thomasina Pigeon still on the ground on A2 here. Top left-hand side of your screen at present. Yuka Kobayashi on A4. Just seems to be resting against the wall without... Here we go, she's making an effort at it now. You got to remember as well how much of an endurance test this is. It's very, very quick, carrying on, change of problems. And it only gets harder as they move through the rest of the comp as well. Thomasina's got the correct beater at this section here by using that left leg and the toe hook. And now she's switching it, and that's what's brought her down. Every athlete that we've seen top here on A2 has used that lean out by hooking their toe around the arete on the left, allowing them to just put at least one hand onto the yellow bonus hold and then rely on it as they swing out. Kobayashi on A4, penultimate hold here now. Just too quick there, unfortunately. Pat McGregor saying, go Team Canada. East Coast fan rooting for McCall and Pigeon. Well, McCall's already through. His fingers crossed for Pigeon as Thomasina makes her way through this competition. Olga Yakovleva currently in 7th place on Group B. 5 tops in 9 attempts. A lot of the athletes in Group B have had 5 tops at this comp. But interesting to see Olga yet again in 7th place. She's well used to just missing out on a final. Did very well at the World Championships though in 2012.
Und am Einstiegsboulder auf der rechten Seite.
Anja Hodan, then her last climb of the day, B5.
Aus Großbritannien, Lena Thomasy. Und auf der linken Seite auf Deutschland Lena Herrmann mit der Startnummer 124.
Chris Davies in the chat saying, how about that Mina Leslie Wojastik? Would love to see Mina in the final. Yep, I think it's pretty much high time Mina made it through into a final, actually. Michaela Tracy for Great Britain as well is over on B1 at present. Just 2 more athletes to come out now before every athlete has started attempting their problems on the wall. So we're moving towards the end of our time here with the women's qualifications. I hope you've enjoyed it so far from Kitzbuehel. Our 3rd IFSC Bouldering World Cup of 2013. I'm Daniel Finn, and if you fancy chatting to me, you can get in touch by using the Twitter hashtag IFSCWC. Any questions you might have, send them in. Anything to stop my producer singing down the earpiece to me as I'm trying to commentate? Even worse when he doesn't know the words. Maria Mulyar from the Ukraine on A2. Natalie Bartishi from Switzerland. Bartshi, born in 1994. Another very young athlete. She's from Zurich. She was 4th in the Female Juniors Boulder European Youth Cup in the Argentière in France last year. 13th at the Female Youth A Boulder European Youth Cup in Munich in 2011. But she has won European Youth Speed Cups before. She's come first. You can't quite see her here yet because you've got Maria Mulyar of the Ukraine standing there. Natalie's about to start stepping forward onto B2 and have another attempt at that one in a moment. Anja Hodan on B5, still on the ground. 1 minute 15 left on the clock. Plenty of time, Anja, if you get onto that wall now and make another good hack at this one. Akio Noguchi in her group as well, another one worth pointing out there. Current world number 2, sitting in 8th place. She's got to be in the top 10 to be able to make it through. it is a little unlikely that we'll see too much change now towards the end of the competition, but there are still those random athletes in amongst these female climbers that could just surprise us. Therese Johansson is looking pretty good so far. She's just coming out now onto problem 3. She currently has 2 tops in 5 attempts. If she can get a couple more out of her 3 remaining boulders to try, she's going to be in very good standing.
Nächsten Boulder A2 auslösen, der Kitzbuehel. Nummer 123.
Mark Richardson, I can see your questions coming in. What are the grades of these blocks for the qualifiers? Just a point to make out to everybody that's watching on this one. We have had a chat with the route setters recently and with some of the guys at the IFSC, some of the climbers, and some of the other route setters. And we were talking about the grading of these blocks, whether it is possible to set a grade. It's come to a general decision outside of my own hands that the idea is that these blocks are so tailored, they are so different to what you'd normally find anywhere else, wherever we are in the world, that it's almost impossible for us to really offer a grade that would do them justice, as they are a league above what a lot of athletes would usually climb, especially as we move through into the semi-finals and the finals. What I can say is that roughly the route setters here are working anywhere between the font grade of a 7A up to a 7C. This is Percy and Laurent Lepore, their vague area that they're working in for the qualifications, anywhere between a 7A and a 7C for the quals is what they've come up with, and they've graded them more as an easy through to hard section. So that easy could be anywhere between a 7A, 7A plus, maybe a 7B, and a hard would be maybe a 7C, 7C plus, maybe even a little bit higher than that. But they're keeping it rather vague at the idea that with a World Cup, they are different to what we'd normally expect to find, and especially what you'd find at a local gym as well. They are tailored for the athletes as well. Remember that as we go through into the semi-finals and the finals as well, the route setters do look at the kind of athletes that they're going to be dealing with, and they try and set accordingly. That's another difference there as well. So at present, that's kind of the best answer I can give you for that one. Berit Schweiger of Austria and Federica Petri are 2 new athletes up on the second problem here. But really coming to the end of the qualifications now. Therese Johansson's looking good at the moment as well. 3 tops so far. Is she going to be causing a threat to some of the other athletes? She's moved up from 17th to 13th place after just 1 boulder here so far. Currently sitting above her in 12th is Rebecca Stotz with 3 tops in 5 attempts. And I believe Rebecca has already finished, so Johansson is currently leading the pack of who is left in Group B to make it into those top 10 slots, and Therese still has 2 climbs left to do. I just had a brief conversation with Anna Stor, who's down on the ground getting some cake next to Sabine Bakker. We were talking about obviously the men's this morning and how Gillian's feeling. Not too great at the moment. And how she's found it here today, saying it was really interesting. One tiny slip up and that can make the difference. What are we thinking at home about these routes and how they've been received here? Do we think they're interesting? Do we not like them? Do we like them? A bit different to what we're used to seeing. But then so was Mio. Mio was just a complete shocker, right out of nowhere. Manu Hassler did a fantastic job there. Really hard qualifications, really hard semi-finals, really hard finals. Let's have a brief look at the results then, as they're looking at the moment. And we have a quick break in a moment's time as these our next athletes come down off the wall. Let's see how we're looking here. So, let's have a look at Group A first and how they're standing. There's quite a difference actually between the two groups. So Group A, Petra Klingler right at the top there, Mina Markovic, Shauna Coxey, Julianne Worm, Sabine Bakker, Leah Crane, Anna Stor in 7th, Anna Galiamova in 8th, Monica Recci in 9th, and who is our current 10th place position? Let's have a look. It's all on this one on our two separate groups. The 10th place is the all-important place, the one to beat at present.
3, 2, 1.
And in Group A, that one to beat is now Yuka Kobayashi, not Barbara Bakker. Yuka Kobayashi with 2 tops in 2 attempts, 3 bonuses in 4 attempts. She's the one to beat to make it in. In Group B then, a completely different kettle of fish, because now we're dealing with people that have really just smashed all 5 of the boulders here. We'll bring you Group B now and have a brief look at that one as well. Alex Puccio, Mina Leslie Wojastic, joint first with 5 flashes straight off the board. Then 3rd and 4th place, Melissa Leneve with 5 tops in 6, Helen Janiko with 5 tops in 6, but then 5 bonuses in 6, that puts her into 4. Moka Oda in 5th, Olga Shalazhina, Olga Iyakovleva, Akio Noguchi in 8th, and Katerina Salvin in 9th. The all-important 10th place, Sa Sol at the moment, with 4 tops in 8 attempts and 5 bonuses in 6. That's the one to beat, Sa Sol, with 4 tops in 8, 5 bonuses in 6. We still have some of our athletes climbing though. Time to go yet. And the one that could possibly throw a spanner in the works for Sa Sol is currently climbing on B4 at the present, and that is Therese Johansson, and she's just managed to top out on B4 as well, which I believe gives her 4 tops now. You can see her there, she's just dropped down. Fantastic athlete. We saw her at the Tierra Boulder Battle just recently. If you want to watch that, get yourself onto 24/7 TV. You can download that replay. Hosted by the Klättercenter in Sweden. Huge round of applause for Berit Schweiger there as she jumps down to the cheers from the Austrian crowd on her home turf. Anybody still with me in the Twitter chat room? Do let me know if you're watching. Let me know where you're watching from. Any predictions as to whether we think we're going to see Therese pushing Sa Sol out of the semi-finals for tomorrow? Are we going to see any last-minute surprises for any of the athletes we're looking at now? What do we think? some of our athletes are safe. Are we going to see any surprises when it comes to Akio Noguchi, who's in 8th place, or maybe even Anna Storr, who's in 7th? It would mean 3 athletes, or 4 athletes, doing better than both of those two. If you want to have a look at any of the results as well, you remember to get yourself onto, if you have a smartphone or an iPad, the App Center and download the IFSC live scoring system. You'll be able to see exactly what I'm seeing here at the venue, which is the results pouring in immediately from the judges' pads as they're pinning in the athletes and how they're doing on the wall. You can look at the live scoring yourself by downloading that download app. I can tell you that over on A1, Anna Vollenwinder, who is our last female athlete to come out, has come out and just managed to top A1. She'll be moving out onto this wall, our main wall here, in a second. Could see some turnarounds here. So the last climb for Annalisa Di Marco and Eileen Yubzangarita.
Kurs mit 3 Wettbewerben aus Deutschland aufgenommen.
Lina Hermann then for Germany, on the top right-hand side of your screen at present. Lina, born in 1994, representative of the German team here, with Udo, who's down on the ground next to her, taking pictures as always. I believe celebrated his 50th birthday the other day as well. Udo, the German coach, the legend that he is. So results then for Lina Hermann at present, a lot of them in the female juniors lead and boulder competitions, and in the youth A lead and boulder competitions. She came second. She has a silver medal for the female youth A boulder European Youth Cup in Munich in Germany in 2011. Silver medal there. And that's her highest result so far to date. As she's moved up into the juniors, she's been averaging around the teens in her results there. But teens would be enough to get her through into the semis here. So let's see how she gets on as she moves through this comp. Natalie Bacci, very close here. One more hand. Gotta get one more hand. And slipped, unfortunately, right at the last. Plenty of time to get back up on that wall there, Natalie. Looks so comfortable as well as she reached up for that other one. The final top move on B4 at the bottom there. And at the turnaround then, this is our last set of climbers coming out onto the wall now. Our final athletes moving out to finish up. Tanner Husk saying Rustam Galmanov hasn't seemed to have found his groove yet this season, watching from Washington State, USA. Nice to have you joining us, Tanner. And yeah, I'd absolutely agree with that one. It's been really strange to see our World Cup winner from last year, our overall World Cup boulder winner, Rustam, the Galmanator, unstoppable machine that he normally is. The guy doing one-arm pull-ups on the top hold of a problem all year last year, making it look so easy. He's just really been struggling since we started this year. Made it through into the finals in Chongqing, but then struggled there. Really tough time of it in the finals in Mio. He's making finals, which is still amazing. Just not quite falling into his usual self. And we've seen him again today, really struggling. Tim Wright, again asking how does the semi-finals lineup work? I've had that question a few times today. It is not the overall 20 overall. It's the top 10 from each group. So the top 10 from Group A and the top 10 from Group B become our 20 that go through to the semis, Tim. And then we're back to just the normal system again, because there's only one group, obviously, for the semi-finals. And so we take 6 of them through into the finals there as well. So Anna Vollenweinder of Austria, our last athlete to come out in Group A In Group B, we still have Madeleine Eppensteiner of Austria to come out as well. She'll be climbing on her own. Obviously, as normal, Austria have a larger contingent of athletes here because it is their home turf. If any of you have never been to Austria before, by the way, I can only recommend that you come here. I don't think I've ever seen scenery quite as beautiful. And I've been around, man.
Last meet. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Last few athletes then, wrapping up at the end of the wall here. Have you guys enjoyed the qualifications so far? I hope you have. We'll be back with you tomorrow for the semi-finals. Coming live to you at about 12, just after midday, for the semi-finals here for the men's and the women's. You may have noticed as well as another first for us, we have brought you this stream on the YouTube site in 4 different formats. So you can watch it in varying qualities to match the bandwidth that you guys are working on. Just trying to improve it. And then of course we also have the backup stream for you, which is available by getting by clicking the alternate link underneath the viewer on the IFSC's home website as well. So you have the backup link as well as the 4 alternative versions on YouTube, depending on how good your bandwidth is. Just trying to make sure that as many people in the world get to see this comp and every comp that we do. There's a lot of support going on now for our Austrian climbers. A fantastic top there for Madeleine Eppensteiner.
erneuten Wechsel. Und wir sehen, mit der Start 127 der neuen Österreicherin Anna Goldweiler, Boulder A3. Der Nummer 125, Tina Johansson, Absatz aus Norwegen, Boulder 4. Nummer 175, Katie Lappland aus Kanada, Boulder 4. Nummer 123, Erwin Schreiber aus Österreich, Boulder 5. Nummer 179, Friederike Petri aus Deutschland, rechts außen, Boulder D5.
Tina Johnson Hafsas then on A4, just starting off here. And we have seen a change in the Group B results so far. Sa Sol has dropped out of the top 10. She's now in 11th place. Katja Salvin is now in 10th with 4 tops in 7 attempts currently. Fantastic top there for Alan Vollenwinder. And it was what I thought it was in that Group B as well. It's Therese Johansson that's just jumped up into 7th place in Group B. Another one of our athletes we saw recently at the Tierra Boulder Battle. She's in 7th place with 5 tops in 9 attempts in Group B, and that has pushed Sa Sol out of the top 10 in Group B. So Therese makes it through into the semi-finals. That's exactly what we'd like to see. We have Kathy Laflamme over on B4 at present. Next to her, we're looking at Berit Schweiger of Austria on A5. And on B5, we're currently looking at Friederike Petri for Germany. Unfortunately, Barbara Backer has been knocked out of that top 10 as well over in Group A by Yuka Kobayashi. Kobayashi now sitting in 10th. The one to beat in Group A is just 2 tops in 2 attempts. So if you can get 3 tops out of these 5, you make it through into the top 10 in Group A. Tim asking, I can't see the current scores. Does Michaela Tracy still have a chance of making it through to the semis? I will double check that in a moment. But just before I do double check that, Tim, as a bit of a shout out to you, if you've got a smartphone at all, get yourself onto the App Store and download the IFSC live results app. If you get online on your smartphone, whatever you've got, or maybe a tablet of some sort, download the app for IFSC live scores, and you can get all the live results as the judges are pinning them in directly on your phone or on your tablet, so that you can always stay on top of things and you'll always be able to see it. Currently, Michaela Tracy is in 12th place with 3 tops in 4 attempts. Now, to make it up into the finals, she needs to top this in less than 3 attempts. Yes, she still does have a chance of making it through into the finals, but to get there, she has to top B5 in less than 3 attempts. It's looking like we could see a top here. And we are over on B4 for Madeleine Eppensteiner. Kelly Tracy still on the ground here. So Tim, hopefully that answers your question. She has still got a chance of doing it here. There she is on B5. Here, some support from the background. That was another attempt there for her, though. Still with Lena Herman, who hasn't had a top yet at all. It'd be nice for her to go out with a bang, even if she's not making it through to the semis. She's not having a good day at all here. Right towards the end of the competition now, guys, before we say goodnight to you, and we'll join you again tomorrow at 12:20 Central European time for the semi-finals. Got the finals later on the evening as well. Michaela Tracy, B5. I still think if she does it in this next attempt in less than 2 minutes, there is a chance that she could push through into the semi-finals. But it's all about attempts now for her. She needs to be able to do it without exceeding a total of 7 attempts all in all, and that's the bonus hold for her. She's got to take her time now on this one. Anybody watching from GBR now waiting with bated breath? Just a bit too short. Slips on her foot there. Couldn't quite make it. She might have one more left. I'm not entirely sure how many attempts she's had on B5 yet. But before she came into this, she had 3 tops in 4 attempts, and the one to beat is 4 tops in 7. So she had 3 to be able to do it to get into that 10th place spot. Melanie Sandoz, our current world champion, has ended up in Group A in 24th place with 1 top and 4 bonuses. I imagine that would have something to do with the fact that she's been out at the moment and not being able to train due to finger injuries. And it is a shame, but shocking at the same time to see our world champion so low. And Petra Klingler is still the only athlete in Group A to have made it through to the semi-finals with 5 tops in Group A. She's topped every single problem here. She did it in 14 attempts, but she has topped all 5 of the A group problems, including A2, which is that slab that we've had all the problem with throughout the day. Another pip then, and we start another 5-minute rotation. Our athletes coming out to make the few final climbs. Anna Vollenweider over on A4 at present, only 17 years old. There she is. 17-year-old athlete. Highest result to date is 8th place at the Female Youth A Boulder European Youth Cup in Milan in Italy in 2011. So another athlete's making it up from the Youth A Boulder category into the seniors now. Next to her we have Tina Jonsson Hafsas, a name that we do know well, and she's only 18 herself, born and lives in Oslo. We've seen a lot of her on the juniors section just recently. She came first at the Female Juniors Lead European Youth Cup in Kranj, Slovenia, Kran, in 2012. She also came first in Imst in 2012 and in Moscow 2012. These are all lead competitions though. She has started to move on to the senior circuit for lead as well. We're seeing here on the senior circuit for bouldering. And Kathy Laflamme. Laflamme. Not entirely sure on the pronunciation of that. Very close there for Anna. Over on A4. Another attempt then for Kathy Laflamme. You see the lactic acid building up in these athletes now. They've done 5 problems today. Anyone making it through into the semi-finals has to do another set of problems tomorrow morning and then another set of problems tomorrow night if they make it through to the finals. Really is a matter of endurance as much as it is power and strength. It's how long you can keep that up for. Tina Jonsson Hafsas looking good here, up to a bonus. Very close here. She's using her feet the wrong way around. She needed to get her right foot down. It's definitely a counterintuitive thing there. We've seen quite a few athletes do that at that point in the wall. She needed to switch her feet and have the right where the left was, and then use the left with a heel hook around the corner of the arete before securing that top. It's just a little bit more secure. We have seen some other methods, but the surefire way to do it is definitely by using the left arete. Anna Vollenweider, Austria, another attempt here, 17-year-old athlete. This is the tricky one. How is she going to get a match on this? Large hold there, just not quite enough. Here we see Tina Jonsson Hafsas in a similar position, trying the same thing again. Is she going to be able to hold it this time? No, not quite. She has to switch there.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Another turnaround then. And one more to go, guys, after this one. And we are wrapping things up here very fast at the women's qualifications. The third IFSC Bouldering World Cup of 2013. Hopefully you've enjoyed the day today. Looking forward to seeing some of you back with us again tomorrow for the semi-finals. Andrea Ebner of Italy, currently out on women's problem 5 for the A group. Andrea Ebner, only 16 years old. She's here now with 2 minutes 20 left on the clock from Bressanon. Results not too shabby at all in the female Youth B lead and Youth A boulder category. Youth A boulder 5th place at the European Youth Cup in Grindelwald in 2012. Another 5th at the World Youth Championships in the lead there in Singapore last year. Another 5th place as well at the European Youth Cup in Cran, 2012. She's had a gold before, that was in speed climbing as well. We're looking at a complete all-rounder climber here, Andrea Ebner, just coming up from the junior circuits, the Youth B, the Youth A, and then the junior circuits, now starting to move into the senior circuits. But well worth keeping an eye on. Already has a nice little reputation. Really interesting to see some of the athletes going back to the start of these problems and trying them again. You can see Michaela Tracy down at one end with 2 athletes from the Czech Republic, and Fanny Gibbert are all going back onto A1 after they've already finished climbing today in the corner to keep trying all the other routes. You'd think they'd have had enough. .40 seconds then before one last rotation, one last climber out onto the wall, and then we wrap things up here at the qualifications.
Boulder, Ihr letzter Boulder, A5.
Anna Vollenweider, 4 minutes left on the clock here. She's our last climb for today. A5, thank you very much for joining us and being with us all the way through the show today. We'll be coming back to you tomorrow at 12 local time, just after midday. So 12:20 p.m. Central European time. For now, Anna Vollenweider makes her final attempt at A5. A lot of support then from the ground. Alan Vollenweider close here. She's got to start switching her way over to the left here. Got to get that arete, and she's got it with the left. Now look, you can see her, she's already looking at it. She wants to go there with her right foot. It's a bad idea. She needs to, once she's got that left foot on that lower hold there, she's got the arete with her left hand. She's got to switch feet. As soon as she does that, she can use a heel hook, and then she can get up to that top hold. That top hold has hardly anything to go on. You go for that quickly and do a quick pop up to it. You're not going to be securing it anytime soon. She's got 2 minutes left on the clock, more than enough time for another attempt here. She's just got to switch her feet. DJ trying to pick up the pace for her a little bit. Less than 2 minutes. Come on, Anna, back on your feet. Anna Vollenweider. Down again on this one. 1 minute left to go. The crowd want her to do this here. It's always nice to finish on a high. See where she's standing at present. Anna Vollenweider. She's in Group A. Can't currently see her anywhere near 14th, so I'm not sure whether this will actually make that much of a difference to our overall standings, which of course we will go through with you shortly after we finish here. In 30 seconds time, we'll have a quick look at where the results are standing and who those 20 are, the 10 from each group. I think it's looking like Anna Vollenweider, to a round of applause, is going to leave it there for today. 20 seconds left on the clock, but I think her hands are finally given out on her. And that is it for her. So that's it, guys. That's covering everybody here today for the women's qualifications. Let's have a brief look now then at the standings as they are at the end of the day. Starting things off with Group A for the qualifications for the women's. Let's see who our 10 athletes are making it through into the semi-finals. Bring that up for you now. Here they are, tiny and in the corner. Petra Klingler's in there. Here we go. Petra Klingler in first place. Mina Markovic, Shauna Coxey, Eula Verm, Sabine Bakker, Leah Crane, Anna Stor, Anna Galiamova, Monica Recci. Those are our first 9. Monica Recci making it through again. Fantastic to see her getting through. Another German athlete. We saw her obviously in a final recently, her first final. And it's Yuka Kobayashi. Unfortunately, the other backer, Barbara, does not make it through into the semi-finals. Those are the 10 from this group, which means that anyone below 10 here is going to be missing out on making it through to the semis. That was Group A then. Let's have a brief look at Group B. And this is the interesting one. Alex Puccio, Mina Leslie-Wojastik, Melissa Leneve, Ellen Janiko, Momoka Oda, Olga Shalagina, Olga Yakuliva, Therese Johansson, Akio Noguchi in 9th though, remember as well. But these are the guys that have had the most flashes. Alex Puccio, Mina Leslie-Wojastik, just no stopping them today at all. Let's have a look at this final all-important 10th place position here. Katharina Sauerwein for Austria in that 10th place. That will keep the Austrians happy on their home turf. And Sass Sol drops out, unfortunately. Anyone below that point then not making it through. Maya Vidmar, no such luck for her today. And neither for Jana Shereshneva, who was in 10th place at one point earlier today. Well, guys, that's everything for us. We'll be back with you tomorrow at roughly 12:20 for the semi-finals here, live from Kitzbuehel. I've been Daniel Finn. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.